Rusty Quill presents Chapter and Multiverse. Well, hello there. I don't think I've seen you around here before. Delighted to make your acquaintance. I'm the proprietor of this little establishment, and while the drinks on offer are of the highest quality, my stories are the true reason for its success. If you'd be willing to listen a while, I could tell you the tale of 4 young people I once encountered in the bustling metropolis of Chapter, the jewel of the United Territories. They were, in fact, superheroes, and their tale has many twists and turns that I'm sure you'll find quite entertaining. Shall I begin?
Hello and welcome to Chapter and Multiverse, the actual play podcast where we explore the same city across multiple parallel universes. I am your game master, Maddy Searle, pronoun she, her, and today we are playing the very first episode of our campaign of Masks: A New Generation, which is designed by Brendan Conway and allows players to take on the role of young superheroes. But before we go any further, I must introduce our wonderful and talented players. Could you please let me know your name and your pronouns and your character's name and pronouns? And I would like to start with Lowri.
Hello, yes, I am Lowri Ann Davies, she, her, and I am playing Blodeuwedd Morgan, known as Morgan, also she, her.
Wonderful. And Pip.
Hi, I'm Pip Gladwin. I'll be playing Joseph Teller, aka Zenith, and we are both he, him.
Fabulous. And Ahmed.
Hi, I'm Ahmed Aljabry, and I will be playing Adeeb, also known as the Turban, and his pronouns is he and him.
Fabulous. And Lyd.
Hi, I am Lydia Nicholas. My pronouns are they or she, and I am playing Minnie Smithson, who is like a totally normal human and totally, it's fine. And her pronouns are she, her. She might occasionally get confused. It's not that she comes from a place that might have slightly different conceptions of gender and sometimes get mixed up. It's a totally human thing.
Totally.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, and to start off with, I'm going to roll a d4 to see who goes first.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Oh, are we in combat? How does this work? Because, like genuinely, I most of my experience is D&D and Pathfinder, and so we in rounds? Are we kicking off in a fight? Awesome.
This is entirely just to see who's under fire first.
Right, cool. Like you start off in a bunker, run away.
I've come up with a 2, and Lowri is the second on my screen, so we're going to start off with Morgan.
I was mid-yawn. I'm so ready.
It's all pressure all the time here in CHAP Central.
You shouldn't have been working out till 3 a.m. then.
That's right. Nice, Pip. Yes.
All right. So we begin our story at the Morgan residence. It is a sprawling mansion, but inside it is a lot cozier than one might expect a mansion to be, with lots of tattered and well-loved furniture and mementos and ornaments, and has a cozy lived-in feel. And we can see that there are a couple of people having a cup of tea in the kitchen. There are big sideboards filled with mismatched plates and a hefty oak kitchen table and chairs.
There's a Welsh dresser.
A Welsh dresser,
We're leaning into that.
All the furniture is Welsh. There's
even a Welsh oven. Didn't even know that was a thing. And so, what does Morgan look like? And how does Morgan take her tea is something I want to know.
Oh, what a question. Morgan takes her tea black with 2 sugars.
Nice.
Morgan is dressed in What kind of time of day is this? I've got like 11 o'clock in my head. 11 a.m.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think it's a Friday at 11.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Nice.
morning tea time.
Yeah. So Morgan has probably only just got up because she's been up till 3 a.m. working out and doing various things. So she's a bit sleepy. She's got just baggy pajama bottoms on and just like a vest top. You can see her tattoos. She's very muscular, as I decided last time. And I'm going to go for 5'9". She's quite tall. She has just come out of her greenhouse.
Excellent.
I don't know why, but that was not what I was expecting. Come out of her shell? Pajamas. Greenhouse. Cool. Our left field.
Yeah, she takes care of a lot of plants. It's an enormous greenhouse, kind of a conservatory more. It's attached to the mansion, right? It's not in the garden, so it's like, yeah, so it's big enough to have like trees and almost like a jungly vibe, and then like different sections. Like it's obviously a very, very well loved, well cared for area of the house.
Lovely. And sitting across from you at the table is your uncle, Owain Morgan. Mm-hmm. I apologise in advance for the Welsh accent I'm about to attempt.
No! Delightful.
And he's a very kind of kind-looking middle-aged man with laughter lines and crow's feet, wearing a very sensible kind of shirt and jumper combo, sort of with greying at the temples hair. And yeah, he looks over to you and is just like, so Pladeweth, how are you feeling about your training? Is there anything that we can be working more on, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going pretty well. I mean, what do you think? I feel good. I feel strong. Like the last experiment with the ferns went really well. Like they hardly withered at all.
Yeah, of course. I see you've been working very hard at your combat training as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you mainly still going for like hand-to-hand stuff, or are you wanting to go more weapon-based?
Well, the hand-to-hand is working pretty well for me. I mean, I'm interested in the staff. That might be quite good to have a bit of range, I guess, though, you know, I am best up close.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm sure I can source a quarterstaff for you, and we can try it out sometime. But yeah, I mainly wanted to check in, like, how you're feeling about Wilt, because there was a news report earlier today saying that she was seen out and about. She wasn't doing anything particularly villainous, but it's always a cause for concern when she's seen in her outfit, you know.
Look, Owain, I have been thinking, do you think we're doing the right thing being so isolated? I mean, how can I get away from this? Maybe it's time that we got some help. I'm training at all hours. I'm tending the plants. I'm working all the time to control, but I haven't been tested against unknown things. I don't have anyone to help me. I mean, obviously you are helping me, and I really appreciate everything you're doing and have done for me, but maybe it's time to get other people involved.
I understand that impulse, but you know that your power can...
Yeah, but I really think I've got a handle on it. As I said, that fern barely showed any signs of damage, and look at it now. Look, it's completely back to full health. And what, it was 8 hours ago that I did it? Like,
I know you've worked very hard on your abilities. Are you sure you're ready to run the risk, though?
I'm so much stronger now, Owain. I really don't think I'm going to hurt anyone, and I've been alone for so long. just think we need some help.
Yes, so as Owain ponders Morgan's request for more help and more people involved in this training, we shall cut over to our next character. I'm going to roll again. And I've come up with a number 1, and Pip is the first on my screen, so it is time
Good
to
Lord.
meet Joseph Teller. So we see a penthouse at the top of the tallest skyscraper in the city of Chapter. And this penthouse is known only to a select few as the Eyrie. This is the skyscraper that contains the offices for Apex Incorporated, but the penthouse can only be accessed by a private elevator that is locked with a key that is impossible to pick. And in this penthouse there are giant windows, tinted so that you can see out but no one can see in, and the furniture is so minimalist it's almost even barely functional. Yeah, the chairs look like it would hurt you to sit longer than 5 minutes on them. And there's a martial arts training space with mats and dummies and all kinds of weapons and equipment. But the most eye-catching thing is a state-of-the-art surveillance station covered in screens, banks of servers, computers with readouts of data. There is a woman sitting there who is in her mid-60s with steel-coloured hair that was once blonde and piercing blue eyes. And there is also a young man in this penthouse. What is Joseph currently doing?
Joseph is, I'm going to say, given the time of day, if it's sort of earlier in the morning, Joseph is in the training room. He's just in standard sort of workout clothes, just like a black t-shirt and some jogging bottoms, and he is practicing with his signature weapon, which is a Kusari Gama, which is a small kind of axe-like, almost like a very small pick. So with one kind of curved, almost sort of beak-shaped blade, and with one sort of, with a short handle. And the bottom of the handle is connected a very, very long chain, and then at the other end of that chain is a like an iron ball, a weight on the other end of it. So it's a lot. So you've got a little hook in one hand and then a sort of chain in the other. So he's, twirling that throughout the air, kind of wrapping it around himself and then uncoiling it and striking targets with the extended weight on the end of the chain, bringing it back around, kind of looping it around a foot and then kicking it out to another side of the room, bringing it back again. It's just sort of cycling through, very, very practiced moves that he has been training at for a very long time. Just kind of getting a morning workout in.
Fantastic. So at this point, you get a notification on your phone, and as you know, Aquila, your mentor, will immediately get a similar notification on her screens because she monitors every single thing that you do. And so as you pause from your training for a second and have a look at your phone, you can see that this is a message that's just appeared from nowhere. It doesn't seem to be connected to any app or mail client. It's just there. Just like a text box has appeared on your phone. And it is a message from Targe, which is the Tactical Agency for Rescue and Guidance in Emergencies. It's the government agency which monitors, trains, and employs superheroes and handles supervillain threats and similar disturbances of the peace. It informs you that you have been headhunted by Targe to join their newest superhero team. And if you're interested, you're to reply as soon as possible and then attend your first briefing tomorrow at 11 a.m. The rendezvous is Tip Top Coffee Shop on Victory Road, and your supervisor, Vera Constantine, will meet you and escort you to HQ. And of course, as soon as, you've barely had enough time to read it and you get a kind of blip over your comms and Aquila says, "Come here."
I sort of, drop everything and go into the surveillance room.
Yeah, and she doesn't even turn around. She's still looking at all these screens. One of them has the message on it from your phone, and she says, "So, I believe that it would be prudent for you to accept this invitation. Do you have anything to say about that?"
No. Guess I'm surprised.
Yes, I understand we have kept you rather away from the rest of society here in Chapter, but I have my suspicions about Charge.
So it's a mission.
It's a mission, as is everything. I would like you to take these, and at this point she does turn around and she's holding some very, very small electronic items in her hand that are barely visible even, and I would like you to place these at strategic places around headquarters, if you would be so kind.
Do I recognize these devices?
Yeah, you've absolutely used these before. They're bugging devices.
Bugs. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I figured.
I have heard rumours of unethical practices that Targe has been engaging in, mainly in the past, but when these things are part of an institution's history, it's hard to believe that they aren't still going on somewhere. And, of course, as a government organisation, I find it hard to believe that its goal is to protect the public rather than protect the image of the government.
Understood. And I go to this meeting as a civilian? I show them my face?
Yes, as long as you don't show any connection to me whatsoever, that is utterly fine. You are an independent individual who has some abilities with martial combat, and you want to help your society by offering your services.
Understood. Anything else?
It would be prudent of me to offer at least some of the resources at my disposal. You may, of course, use the base at Exoplanet Corp. You may use the elevator entrance. No one will disturb you there. And yes, I think you've shown yourself to be trustworthy enough to be allowed to use the stealth jet.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Now, I believe that you should possibly do some research into Targe before tomorrow, so get right to it.
I'll head to the base now. Get things set up.
Fantastic.
And I think as she sort of turns back in the chair and carries on watching the surveillance, I'm sort of just going to stand there awkwardly for only 5 seconds, but there's kind of an element of, cool, that interaction has finished. Guess I'll leave.
Yep, she's very much like, I'm done with you now.
Yep.
She's completely now doing something else, barely acknowledging that you are there. So, of course, you may head over to the base at Exoplanet Corp, but in the meantime, let's just roll one more time to see who is next. And that is going to be Lyd up next. Before we meet Lyd and Ahmed's characters for the first time, we're just going to take a brief break and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back. We are now in a very ordinary looking suburban house with some slightly unusual individuals sitting around a dining room table. There is Benson McDykel, who is wearing entirely beige clothes, which contrast massively with his iridescent green hair and eyes. There is Cleo Schmirk, who has short iridescent hair and has a couple of wigs just kind of draped over her arm, preparing for the inevitable going outside and being a human. And there is also...
they're already a human. Why they need to prepare to be a human?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know.
So, there's stuff around this flat that is unusual. Instead of a bench, they've got a bed. They've just, it's comfortable. Why would you not use a single bed as a sofa? It just makes more sense. Dinner is microwaved ice cream.
Oh, no. Oh, it's so upsetting.
Amazing. And also sitting at the table is Minnie Smithson. So what do Benson and Cleo see when they look at Minnie?
They see someone that is doing just a really bang-up job of being human. But they also see someone that hasn't hit deadlines recently and really needs to up their game because our readers on Spec Markelon 5 are not going to be like satisfied with 1 or 2 articles a week about things humans do. Like, this is not enough. Really, Minnie, you need to up your game. But, you know, it's just a little bit of tension in the air because, like, if you're not hitting deadlines, it reflects on the whole office. So,
Yeah, Benson is looking at you with a disapproving glare and with a sort of vague attempt at a kind of American accent that is very much like a British actor doing an American accent.
Yeah, weird that. Like, it's a strange coincidence. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, now, I see that you are behind on your latest article, and look,
it's just that you didn't like 12 things that middle-aged ladies who are going to a coffee shop might say in order to try and get a discount. I can't really help that it didn't turn out that great, and I'm working on it. Okay, it's just there's a lot, you know, and when apparently. So there's a thing I found out. If you sit in a coffee shop for too long and you look at people, there's like a limit to how long you can look at people before they will ask you why. And I could write an article about that. Amounts of time in different locations that you can watch people before they ask you what it is that you're doing and where you're looking at them.
I mean, that is a very interesting topic for an article, but our readers want something more digestible, something more basic, something more understandable, like 7 ways humans use their fridges that you won't believe, or 21 human beverages and the strange rituals that accompany them. I've actually worked out. That's kind of pro level. You're going pro level, and we want beginner level because a lot of people, they don't know as much about humans as we do. So we need to assume a basic level of ignorance.
There's so much to know. Right. Okay. Tea rituals. I've got that down. Apparently, there's a thing where people ask if you're doing okay and you want some tea, and I have, like, it has been months that I've been working on that, and there are so many levels to it. That's before you get what's actually in the tea. That's just how you ask someone if they want tea. It turns out you can't ask people on a train.
Yeah, that's interesting, because there are those trolleys that they roll down the middle that have tea, so surely they would
think that humans would accept tea. If they'll accept tea at home, they'll accept, and that's when they're sitting down on soft furniture usually. But yeah, you would think that they would accept tea on a train, but no, unless you are pushing the tea trolley. But then the person whose tea trolley it is gets very unhappy with you.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Yeah, you know, I do my research.
Yeah, that is true. So there was a reason we hired you. Cleo, how have you been doing? And then Cleo swishes her hair back and says, well, I've written an extra article already before my deadline because I just found out the most fascinating things about human items of clothing. So it's not entirely about the part of the body. Sometimes it covers more than one part of the body. So I just find that very interesting.
Minnie narrows her eyes.
At this point, Minnie, you get a notification on your phone, very similar to the one that Joseph got. It is a message from Targe offering you a position on one of their superhero teams, and with a meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Minnie, at the moment, she is not going to share that with her boss because her boss already thinks that she's got a bit too much going on and needs to be writing more. But actually, this sounds fascinating. So
nice.
Just gonna So if Cleo looks suspiciously over and is like, you know, there's a suggestion of like, who is that from? It's like, oh, it's just my boss, you know, Joe Dustis at Dustis Heels, my shoe shop job, incredibly normal human job, which, you know, is giving so much material. So I better actually go out and answer this so that I can find out more things about shoes. It's not about being a superhero at all. It's about being an ordinary human. I don't know why I even said that. I'm just... yeah, sometimes humans do that. You know, they say things that are irrelevant.
All right, sure. If it's to do with the article, yeah, for sure, you gotta do the human thing. Yeah, go for it.
I've got one I'm actually interested in. 7 ways that human bosses get their human staff to show up to work using emotional blackmail. Including one you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'll see if there's room in the release schedule for that. Yeah, for sure. All right, and so do you just kind of pop outside to reply to the message?
Just pops out into the garden where, like, again, things are just, like, a little bit off. Like, there's dandelions really, like, carefully tended in pots, which is just something that, you know, really we should appreciate the dandelion more, but it's, like, lots of plants that usually are getting chopped down or pulled up are like, yeah, there's daisies here and there's a rose bush and all of the flowers have been cut off and the thorns are like nicely presented.
Maybe sandcastles of mud.
Yeah. Like this is totally how humans decorate their gardens.
Garden gnomes that have been stuck in the ground upside down.
Yeah, you know, like it's nice. Oh, the garden gnome is planted in the pot. It's like they're not stupid. They just haven't quite got all the things right. You know, I really like.
But I mean, with like a garden gnome, like they've got that point on the top of their head, right? So
they
naturally that would go in the ground. Like that's
that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
It's that they like it would just be odd to go into an immaculate garden and then there's just daisies and dandelions in pots and just like, why is this odd? I'm not sure, but it is odd. But anyway, yeah, she pops out to the garden and can you text back to this message, or you say it's outside of an app? Like, is there a whole?
Yeah. There is a link. There is a hyperlink at the bottom where you can press and you can reply.
Yeah, cool. A hyperlink. It's not even a QR code. We're living way in the future here. Yeah, Minnie replies like, sure. What is Targe?
Are you asking this in the message?
Yeah. Messages. What's this?
You get a response relatively quickly saying, I'm surprised you don't know this. It is the...
As a human, I'm surprised you don't know.
I know all the things that people know. What?
You get a message back quite quickly saying, I'm surprised you don't know this. It is the Tactical Agency for Rescue and Guidance in Emergencies. It is the government agency which handles superhuman affairs. We have received notification of your powerful abilities and would very much like to have you on our team.
Minnie is so stressed about the fact that someone has somehow noticed that maybe she's like not human or something, that she accidentally makes her phone incredibly heavy and drops it on the floor and it cracks the plant pot that she was next to.
Darn it! Does Minnie suspect any particular incident may have been responsible for this? The reveal of her powers?
Look, so it looked like things were going to get a bit dicey on the train when she took the tea trolley and was just like trying to work out what makes it appropriate for some people to offer tea and some people not to in certain circumstances. And it's just like a bit of research for the people back home because like they think this kind of stuff is fascinating somehow. But I was beginning to write that up and it turns out that they have security guards on trains. Didn't even know that. And they seemed to be coming towards them, and it was quite a crowded carriage, and there was just, like, a lot going on. So it seemed like the best thing to do was to just maybe not be there anymore. And so Minnie, like, just very slightly bent the rays of the sun around herself so that she would become invisible and slipped between shadows and got away from the situation before it escalated at all. Yeah, maybe someone saw that. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and there is a mention in a message that appears just a few seconds later. Your ability to control light and become invisible would be extremely useful in our reconnaissance missions.
But right, sure, okay, yep, cool. I can totally justify this on top of my 2 jobs. That's what human 20-somethings do, right?
That is what humans do.
Multiple jobs. Yeah, I could do this. This is it's more research. I don't need to tell Benson. No, and I definitely don't need to tell Cleo.
Yeah, you can hear, there's an open window and you can hear Cleo on a Zoom call. But this is, of course, as we have established previously in our conversations, that it's not human Zoom, it is Specian Zoom. That is a hole in time and space through which Specians communicate.
Yeah, but what else would you call a tiny hole in space and time that moves faster than light, like that Zoom, right? Yeah. You can't use that name for just a normal video call. That would be ridiculous.
No, of course not. And she is making kind of lovey-dovey noises at her partner back on Spec Mark 5, and he's going, I miss you so much, darling. I just wish you could be right here with me. And yeah, it's nauseating.
If I wasn't over her, this would get me over her, but does she have to rub it in?
All right, so do you reply and accept the invitation?
Sure, yeah. Gotta have something that Cleo doesn't know about.
Excellent. So I think now at this point, we are going to shift focus over to Ahmed's character. So we are at a family home in a suburban area of the city, a quiet neighborhood near the good schools. And Adeeb is just hanging out in his room. And I would like to ask, what is he doing?
It's a weekday or a weekend?
It is a weekday. It is morning on a Friday.
All right. He is probably either working on something for school, just finishing some homeworks, because he is planning to go out tonight. So he needs to make sure nothing is going to be piling on by the end of the week. So he's going to try to finish as much work and homework and assignments he can muster.
All right, nice. And what does Adeeb's room look like?
His room, there is a desk beneath a bed, and there are posters of various video game characters and a couple of superheroes, but mostly video games and anime characters in various designs. And there is a large wardrobe filled so much that he cannot close the doors with various things, and there are a lot of fabrics just thrown around in the ground. And there is an unfinished cosplay project hanging on in one corner that he plans to go back to eventually to get it done, but he hasn't worked on it. He's been busy this week with school stuff.
Yeah, entirely fair. And it's at this point that you get a call from Lin Fan, who is a member of the cosplay club that you're a part of. Do you pick up?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Lin.
Hey, how are you doing? Is everything okay?
Oh yeah, it's fine. I'm trying to get these assignments finished. They just remember to give us everything before the weekend.
Yeah, they really don't care about us having a social life, but I guess that's their prerogative. Listen, I'm calling because Poltergeist has come up on the news again.
Oh. Yeah, I saw this. Was it last night, right?
Yeah, last night. I think it was like a jewelry store robbery or something. Just wanted to make sure you're okay and you know.
Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be okay? I'm just here working on the cosplay. The cosplay.
All right. I thought you said you were working on schoolwork.
Oh, yes. I was working on the cosplay yesterday, and right now I'm working on my homework.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah, I wasn't anywhere near Poltergeist last night.
The fact that you say that causes me to think that you might have been.
Why would I be anywhere there? Like, what did you say? Like the jewelries or something, or just gold, or why would it be anywhere near these things?
Okay. Yeah, I understand that you're trying to like minimize it and make it less of a big deal, but he was our friend, and
it's not like I'm tracking him and figure out where he's gonna hit next. How would I have even known that he's gonna be planning to hit a place like that? It's not like I'm keeping an eye on him and people he hangs out with or anything. Psh, that would be crazy if I just happened to be there. Like, I care about him, of course, but I mean, I'm not gonna be there waiting for him to strike something or another or something. You know, I'm this assignment is really it's very tough. So how about I call you back in like 20 minutes when I get this done, and we can just chat it out?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. No worries. Yeah. Call me back when you're ready.
Absolutely.
All right. Speak soon.
Bye. So the moment I hang up and just like, I need to be more careful.
So what exactly did happen the other night?
I would normally, when I have the chance, I try to patrol the areas that you usually go to, and I have seen him go with a group of people to the jewelry and gold district. And once I saw them go in trying to hit the stores, I got involved.
All right. And do you think that there was any like photographs or news footage of you engaging with Poltergeist?
Absolutely. I'm careless about these things. Like, there are cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, people are gonna be seeing me like sending claws and just swinging between labs and just trying to avoid whatever things that they're hitting me with, and with absolutely depends on the listener. It's, to me, I find it very funny, my banter, my jokes. But
Incredible. All right. So at this point, you hear a knock at your bedroom door, and you hear your sister Amal outside going, "Can I come in?"
Oh yeah. Come on in.
All right.
I spin around my chair just to face her.
She says, "Right. It's getting harder and harder to keep our parents from watching the news when you're on it, so..."
I've been very careful.
Yeah.
Lying.
They got a really good shot of most of your face.
Well, I pull out like this small mask, like the ones Robin wears.
The
like,
domino mask.
Domino mask, yeah.
I'm wearing this. Like, I'm sure nobody would know it's me.
I'm not so sure, but I appreciate your optimism.
The domino mask, the mask that covers literally everything except for all of your identifiable features.
I don't know, like, okay, so maybe I can just wrap the turban around my face or something like that?
I think that would be a good idea. I think having more face covering would be helpful. I
can do that. Yeah, I can absolutely do that. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna be doing this forever. I mean, Poltergeist and the guys ran away this time, but maybe next time I'll be able to do something and hopefully stop them. And, that's it. I don't need to do this anymore.
Okay. Just be careful, all right? Because, Big Sister's got to look out for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm really grateful for covering up for me last night.
That's all right. And thanks for covering for me when I had that gig. Mom and Dad don't understand rock at all.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But you still haven't sent me the recording, so that's what you need to do.
Okay, sure. I think Mum's doing something in the kitchen. I should probably go help out. On Fridays, I don't have any classes, and she insists that I'm just around the house, even though there's nothing I can do to help, and she does everything. I do not understand why this works.
Just make sure not to remind her that I'm upstairs.
Okay.
So she doesn't call me just to help. I have a ton of homework, and and I have so much to do, and
Very fair. All right, cool. See you later. And
right, bye.
she heads out and down to the kitchen to help out with your mum. And you also get the mysterious message on your phone from Targe, offering you a position on a superhero team. Seemingly, perhaps you aren't going to be stopping with Poltergeist after all if you take up this offer. What's Adeeb feeling about this?
My reaction is at first is when I see it, I click on it and I see this window, this is not any of my apps. This is not of any of my mail services. Definitely not ping pong. So I run to the door, lock the door, go to the window, make sure just look around if there's anybody looking at me, and just close the window slowly and just sit there just staring at it. Oh crap. Somebody already knows. And it takes me a few minutes just to go from panic and just to calm down and just start thinking about it. You know what? I can't do this alone. I keep trying, and he has other people with him. So if I can join in and join this Targe, maybe I have a better chance of helping him stop whatever he's doing. So I click and reply and say, just right, I'm in.
Perfect. All right. And now we're going to go back to Morgan, sitting across the kitchen table from Owain. And Owain is pondering the option of asking for more help. And he turns to look at you and says, you do know the vision I had, the prophecy I had about you.
Yes, of course I do.
That you'd follow in your parents' footsteps.
Look, right now, what I'm concerned about is that Wilt is showing up more. Okay? And I don't think I can take her alone.
And at this point, you get the notification. The same that everyone else has got from Targe, offering you a place on a superhero team, seemingly answering your prayers.
I look at Owain and I say, did you have a vision about this?
No. This is incredible. I mean, I was worried about you joining up with other people and putting them in danger, but if they have the resources of Targe, if they're a government organisation that is designed to do this, then this might be your best chance.
This is a really big decision to make immediately.
Did they give a deadline of how long to make before you can make your decision?
Well, I mean, it says here 11 o'clock tomorrow morning I have to turn up.
All right. Goodness, I feel like, you probably should make a decision as soon as you can. I don't want to put pressure on you. I don't want you to do anything you don't want, but from my perspective, if you're looking for help, this might be the best option.
How did they know about me?
Well, they have so many superpowered individuals on their roster. They might have precognitive people like me. They might have just mundane surveillance equipment. There's a number of ways they could have found out.
Right, then absolutely, yeah. Okay, I need to do this, because if they can find me, Wilt can. And I just feel like at the moment we're just sitting and waiting, right? Like, we're not doing anything. I mean, obviously I'm training, but yeah, I guess their resources are going to be... Obviously, their library won't be as good as yours, but...
Oh, well, you know how to flatter your uncle, you do.
Yeah, this feels right.
All right. Go on, reply then.
Morgan will reply, thank you. See you there.
Dun, dun, dun.
And that brings us to the end of our first ever episode of Masks for Chapter and Multiverse. Thank you so much
You
for
folks
listening.
with your spooky stuff and me with my microwaved ice cream. So cool.
I love the range of tones that we've got.
Yes.
All right, so before we finish up, I would just like to ask where we can find you on the internet in case our lovely listeners want to find out more about what you do. And let's start with Ahmed.
Hi, I'm Ahmed Aljabry, and you can find me everywhere at Mr_Aljabry. I am a cultural consultant, and I write adventures for and content for D&D.
Wonderful. And Lyd?
Me, I am Lydia Nicholas. You can find me on Twitter at Lyd Nicholas. And you can watch my chickens be live streamed on Urban Chooks at Twitch. And, you can hear me ramble in other Rusty Quill podcasts like most folks here. So much podcasting.
So much podcast. All right, and Pip.
Hello, goodbye. I don't know. I'm Pip Gladwin, and you can find me at Pip_Gladwin. I can be heard in a variety of podcasts that I've already made. Just Wooden Overcoats and, all kinds of other ones. I'm not going to list any of them because, again, I don't know when this is going out. There are things that I've recorded and I don't know whether they haven't been announced yet. So that's a whole thing. But yes, I'm going to stop talking.
And Lowri.
You can find me mostly on Lowri Tweets, where I am liking and retweeting tweets from my friends and not creating original content at all on that platform.
You can find me on Twitter at Maddy_Abstract, where there are links to all the various things that I do. And we hope to see you next time on Chapter and Multiverse. But until then, from all of us here in the space between worlds, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Chapter and Multiverse is a podcast distributed by Rusty Quill and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike 4.0 International License. It is directed by Maddy Searle and produced by Natasha Johnston, with executive producers Alexander J. Newall and April Sumner. The Eternal Tavern Keeper was played by Kareem Cronfley. This episode was edited by Lowri Ann Davies, Tessa Vroom, and Maddy Searle, with music by Nico Vertese. Thank you for listening.